Okay, you heard her. We are recording. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a unusual Tuesday, probably one of the most unusual Tuesdays I've ever had. Off for a month, long extended holiday because of COVID. And we last one day, and I'm back on the shelf along with my friend here, Jason Cameron, who's joining us to break down the world of sports. But both of us went back to work yesterday. We were exposed to somebody that tested positive for COVID, and now we've been quarantined and told we cannot go to work. So we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to have fun with it. This is crazy. Hey, we lasted a day, and that was it. Boom.
Like literally, our crew lasted a day, and then you're shut down. You're done. I wasn't expecting the reach to get to even us.
Yeah,
but it did. It did.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's definitely super contagious right now. It seems like I'm hearing about people getting it all over the place. So yeah, it's real. It's happening. Wear your masks. Luckily, we were wearing our masks, and we're vaccinated. We have all that going for us. That minimized the amount of time we got to spend by ourselves, and so that's good. But you were quarantined before. I've been quarantined before, but we've never been quarantined at the same time. So maybe we could have a lot of fun with this. We could do podcast to just start right now, and we could do it for 5 days, and maybe we could set a record. I wonder what the longest podcast ever in history is.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure it's longer than 2 days, so it's probably more like 48 hours. I don't even know if you'd be making any sense by that point in time, but yes, let's do it. Let's go for it.
It would be hilarious to just turn it on and just start talking, and then hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, just start actually watching it back after recording ourselves talking for 24 hours, and how little sense we'd be making. We'd probably start crying and laughing at the same time, and it would be some pretty wild recordings.
Yeah, well, it would literally be the public watching two men go insane. So yeah, fun. That's a good time, right?
Okay, well, I got some other ideas. Maybe you can bounce some ideas off me, but I thought that we could start drinking right now, and we could just also see where that takes us. I would just love to watch it back after a good 6-8 hours of drinking. You and I have had some great drinking sessions in our time, and we've always had good times. So I think it would be a good time.
Oh yeah, there'd be some. Oh, I don't remember that part. That 1 hour gone. Don't remember that. but now I see why. It wasn't really making too much sense, anyways.
Yeah. What about if we just had a massive feast, and we were just constantly eating food and telling people what it was like, how much we were enjoying it, making some comments on what we got, where we got it from, how great it was. Do you think that's must-watch TV?
Well, yeah, if you get a chance to watch me eat, it is much-watch TV for sure. I love it. I love that idea. Just having people watch me eat food. It's fantastic.
I've had the pleasure of watching you eat lunch on many occasions, and it brings a tear to my eye. It makes me happy.
Yeah, I know. It's you're easily amused though, but at the same time, hey, I love it if people watch me eat food. It would be fantastic. Really good.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get some sponsorship from Skip the Dishes and all of these local restaurants. Why don't you, after this quarantine's over, why don't you just go to all the restaurants in your little community that you like, and just tell them that, you want to do this thing, and we'll promote their restaurant really heavily. We'll see how many restaurants can come on board, and we'll just have a complete eat fest.
Oh man, that would be awesome because then we just get to eat for free, pretty much. Isn't that the dream?
Yeah,
That's the dream.
that
That literally is the dream.
that's the dream. After I started thinking about this, we could do lots of podcasts on so many different genres of this network. Could we do a music podcast, you and I?
We we could, as long as it's stuck to one particular genre, 90s rap.
Okay.
We never move off that genre ever.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I guess that's throw down. We could do that. I'm sure we could find a lot to talk about. We'll throw some great tunes on, and that's your baby, right? You love that 90s rap.
Yes, I do. I love it. I love it so much. I don't listen to anything else. So I don't know any other artists. I don't know new artists. I'm like that old man on the porch. Get off my lawn. No, I only listen to one. So
yeah,
I'm good.
Well, I know we could do a comedy podcast. We got to do that one day. We'll come up with a ton of great ideas. I actually heard a pretty funny joke today, and I think it's clean enough to tell. Okay, so why do indigenous people not like snow?
Oh man, so it's bad. It's a bad one, huh? Okay, yeah.
Because it's white and it just goes all over their land.
Oh man, bad.
Okay, bad. Yeah.
Where was that being said?
It was an indigenous guy that told me the joke today. So
Okay.
Well, I got his permission.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you got somebody's permission. Somebody said, "I gift you with this." Go ahead.
Okay, we got entertainment podcasts. We should be able to find some entertainment. We could talk about movies. We could talk about comic books. We could talk about cartoons. We could talk about lots of things. Can we do an entertainment podcast, you and I?
Yeah, yes. It is. All of these things are very much possible.
Okay, we also got food and beverage. We got that covered. We can do some drinking and eating and have a lot of fun. What about travel? Can we do a travel podcast, you and I?
Yeah, we can do travel.
Okay.
Sure.
Photography.
Okay, photography. I don't know much about photography.
Okay. Maybe that one's not something we can do.
Okay.
Okay. I've only got 3 genres left. We got family and friends. We all got those, so we should be able to figure that out. Business.
Oh, so much business out there. Yes.
Yes.
We can talk about business, I guess. Yes.
All right. And finally, stocks.
I know nothing about stocks.
Nothing about stocks. Okay, so maybe 2 genres we're not able to do: photography and stocks. And we can, okay. You got any other ideas of genres that you would like to do a podcast for?
Yeah, comic books are cool. Comics are good. Okay. I don't know, maybe like some fantasy novels. Those are 2 suggestions. Okay. I'll throw those in there.
Cool. Yeah, I guess you were saying, I heard you say that you read a lot of fantasy novels over the Christmas holiday break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Really good way to entertain yourself.
Well, yeah, like sometimes I just don't want to watch anything on TV. Sometimes I just don't want to have anything to do with the TV period. Like I just want to be in a quiet space.
Nice.
Yeah.
So. Cool. I was talking to Grayson, our mutual friend, and he told me about this Warhammer. I had never heard of it before. He said it was something that he was really into. I guess that's something that you do as well.
Yes, it is. It's like a tabletop playing game. It's kind of like a D&D adventure. You roll dice, you play, he takes you through like a campaign or a quest, It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
It gets you to use your creative mind, so to
Nice.
speak. So you
Okay.
can construct that in your mind, something that I don't think we do too often anymore in
Yeah.
today's society.
And were you saying that fantasy book was also from Warhammer? Was that
Wow, there's two different genres. There's Warhammer, which is like knights and castles in that time period, and there's Warhammer 40K, which is in the distant dystopian future.
Hmm.
And it's yeah, you got like high tech stuff, and it's but it's not a great place to live. It's very
Yeah.
grim and very dark.
It seems like if we do any type of, we see any future movies, we read any future books, we talk about the future at all, it never seems to be like it's going to be good.
Because it's not,
No.
right? Because I know we're kind of going through it right now, pandemic, real cool. That's why we're at home. You know, like it's like if you look back at the 2 years that we've had with the pandemic, with these movements that we've gone through, and then on top of that, with nature and the biblical storm and the flooding and everything else, it's been quite the 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been quite the onslaught of stuff.
No shit. Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like end of days, you know, I don't know how long more we got, but yeah, I guess we can just keep plugging away at a podcast and trying to go to work, keep getting sent home, and you know, just having fun. I guess we'll have to keep at it. But yeah, it does seem like end of days. That's a lot of people have been predicting this for decades, if not centuries, and here we go. We're in it, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm waiting for is the plague of locusts. Once that happens, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Tapping out,
Yeah,
trying to get on that shuttle to Mars or wherever they're heading up into space.
I'm out. I'm off the planet.
We have some really exciting news. I don't know if everybody knows that we on our network, we have a new podcast that's available. It's called the All Even Podcast, hosted by Barry Grant Jr. from New York City. He's been a guest on our podcast on a couple of occasions, and now you can access his podcast directly through the Complete Media Network. We're really happy that he allowed us that access, and please give it a listen, give it a watch. Great guy, great takes, a lot of amazing, funny stuff to entertain you while you break down the world of sports. So yeah, give it a listen, give it a watch. He's awesome, and we're super happy that he allowed us this access.
Yeah, no, the guy's great. He has a fantastic podcast, and we firmly support him. We back him as he backs us.
Yeah. Okay, so lots to break down today. Let's fly through it so we can get out our quarantine and enjoy ourselves home alone. We've got the first UFC card of 2022 to talk about. That's going to be fun. 1 month off. There was no cards. I was missing it a ton over those holidays. We've got the divisional games in the NFL. There was six wild card games, and now the divisional round is upon us, coming up this Saturday, starting this Saturday. And then we've got some NBA to finish it off. So let's get into the NFL to start with. Some mostly blowouts, 2 games that were close, the rest were blowouts. Out of the 6, 4 games were over real quick, and you know, very one-sided for sure. Why don't we just cover last night's game? I was able to watch it on fast forward. We got home so late that I had to fast forward through it, but it wasn't much of a game. The Rams just put a massive beating on the Cards, beat them 34-11, and I was quite surprised. I thought this would be a really tight game. Those teams have battled really hard against each other all season in the same division, but no, it was a one-sided affair.
It was a one-sided affair. It just seemed to me like the Cardinals could never literally get on track. Yeah. I think the Rams defense didn't allow that to happen. And on offense, utter domination.
Yeah.
It was utter domination. No turnovers by the Rams. They allowed 1 sack on Matthew Stafford and over 35 minutes of possession time in the game.
Wow.
And that's utter domination.
Yeah. What really stood out to me was the Rams made some big acquisitions this year. Obviously, Matthew Stafford, the big trade at the beginning of the year, bringing him in. He played kind of a little iffy down the stretch. Was throwing way too many picks, but this game he played solid. Didn't make any mistakes. Had a couple touchdowns, couple 100 yards passing. Even had a rushing touchdown. Just played really smart, didn't make any mistakes, and was really key in the victory.
Yeah. That's the one thing that he needed to cut down upon with his turnovers and turning over the ball, and he did that. Yeah. And that's literally all he needed to do to cement this victory, because the defense took over, kept Kyler Murray off balance the entire time, and they made it look easy. They made it look easy last night.
Their running game was really good right to start with, but the one guy that really stood out to me was Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, he was a midseason acquisition. In Cleveland, he was almost non-existent, never scored a touchdown. Here he's got a half a dozen touchdowns and is a big force. He had 4 catches for 54 yards and a TD, and he even threw a 40-yard pass. So they were utilizing him in a few different ways. He was really key, and he has been key. Cooper Kupp's having an MVP type season, but having that second weapon has been really key for this team.
Yeah, because so now it just makes it so much harder to load up on one guy, because then you got another guy like Odell Beckham Jr. just hiding in the weeds, so to speak. So it just really exposes the defense and makes it tough on the defense, because now they have to pick and choose their battles, which is one of the reasons why the Rams even brought him in. So to make it harder on the defenses, and it showed.
Antonio Brown should take an example. There's a guy that, a lot of people have been saying, I don't know about this guy. I don't know if he's a cancer to your team. Maybe not smart to bring him in. He's been doing great, keeping his mouth shut, just playing the game and doing a great thing. And I think Odell should take a page out of, Antonio should take a page out of Odell's book.
Well, yeah. And also too, Odell's now giving himself a chance to, I don't know, win a Super Bowl, kind of the thing that y'all played for. That's why you keep playing. Yeah. That thing.
And the other big acquisition that the Rams made in the middle of the season was getting Von Miller out of Denver, former MVP of the Super Bowl, a real key component for them. He led the team in tackles, had a big sack, seemed to put a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray, really shut down the Cards early and often. He was a force. Really awesome to watch him all night last night.
Yeah, he was a force, and he has been a force since coming over. And it just another thing to put on that vaunted defense. Just another guy to worry about if you're on the offensive side of the ball. And Miller came out, and he played very, very well for that defense.
Yeah. What happened to the Cards? They started the season 7-0. They were near the top of the league the entire year. Kyler went down, and they still played okay, but he's come back. They've just completely blown the last part of the year. Cliff Kingsbury, I was told by Barry Grant Jr. that he's a choke artist. I looked through his history, and back in college days and into the pros, he has had some teams that were really good early and then just imploded and blew up late. I don't know who we can blame it on. Who do you think?
I don't know. I don't know who you can blame it on. Like maybe it's because of once coaches saw what he was bringing to the table, they made their adjustments, and then he didn't adjust to those adjustments. Yeah. Maybe not nearly enough, or the fact that Kyler, when he came back, was healthy enough to play but wasn't healthy. Sure. Which is what happened to him the previous season before. So, it's a wear and tear league. It's like you try to last to the end. Right. And I think with the Cards and the bodies they were missing with DeAndre Hopkins and such like that, they just didn't have enough forces to bring to the game. I just don't think they had the talent to run with the Rams anyways.
Right.
Like they needed Kyler Murray to be absolutely stellar in that game, and he wasn't. And then they got blown out.
Yeah. Basically, Kyler Murray was such a highly touted prospect and picked because he, won the Heisman. But most times before Russell Wilson came into the league, people would have just said, no, too small, forget him. He can't play an NFL quarterback. And I heard you make a comment the other day, watching from a different perspective. If you're standing in the pocket and you're trying to look for weapons, and all of a sudden you've got all these 300-pounders, they're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". They're just monsters, and they're all trying to get in your way to see it. Maybe that young, small quarterback can't make it anymore. Russell Wilson might have been an anomaly, might have just been able to get out and scramble and be that guy, but maybe that's not a possibility anymore. Maybe we've seen these small quarterbacks. They've been able to figure out that you just got to jam that pocket tight, and he's not going to be able to get his weapons and see them.
Yeah, it could be, but like you said, Russell Wilson has shown a way for the smaller quarterback to succeed in the league. Now, I want to think that Kyler is smart enough and definitely physically talented enough to do what Wilson does. Like he's got a bunch of game tape to watch, so he has the resources to figure it out if he wants to. He does. He really does. But like you said, it's just those physical capabilities that you're born with, and it just makes it that much harder for him to see over those huge defensive linemen.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a strange year for them. They had so much promise. I thought they, came out of the gate a little bit too fast. I didn't think that this was their year. I thought that they had to get a few more pieces in place to, take a step or two. Maybe this was the first step they needed. We'll see what kind of changes they make personnel-wise. But, DeAndre Hopkins, massive loss, one of the best receivers in entire league, and you can't, fault them for not having him. But we'll see what happens with the Cards going forward. But Rams are moving on. Rams are going to be facing the defending Super Bowl champion Bucks. The Bucks just absolutely destroyed the Eagles. It was 31-0, and then they kind of took the foot off the gas and let the Eagles score a couple late TDs. But the Bucks are still marching, even though they have lost quite a few of their weapons. But Tom Brady defying odds as always, as we mentioned probably 100 times on this podcast. So what do you think? Do you think the Rams have a good shot at knocking off the Bucks in this one, or again the Bucks just keep churning on to another Super Bowl appearance anyway?
Well, the Rams got a shot. They got a shot just as long as that guy doesn't touch the ball and he has a chance to win with like seconds left on the clock, because then that's not a position you want to be in either.
Yeah.
So, they have a shot, but I can't believe I'm saying this. You're going up against Brady. And so, man, it's a terrifying proposition. It really is, because it's like, yes, he doesn't have all his weapons, and yes, this and that, but it's Tom Brady. Right. So you're gonna have to bring your lunch pail, because it's gonna be a long day.
It's gonna be a very long day. Yeah. They just absolutely destroyed the Eagles. It wasn't even close. Eagles just sort of limped in and made it, last day of the playoffs. But the Bucks really flexed their might and showed. Evans had a phenomenal game. He is definitely the go-to guy for Brady, along with Gronk being able to be that guy, still getting touchdowns, still setting records, him and Brady. Imagine that Gronk has had, I believe it's 107 touchdown catches in his career, and 105 been thrown by Brady. Like, how great is that? Like, Brady has helped you, made your career, really made you who you are. It's an incredible accomplishment. Actually,
let's take that a step further. Brady helped contribute to him being a Hall of Famer. Okay. That's what he is. He's a Hall of Famer. And that's what Brady's done for a lot of guys.
True.
There's a
Very
lot of
true.
guys
Yeah. Yeah.
associated with Brady's name, man. So, and hey, he's proven it by coming to the Bucs, immediately winning, and being like, I know Belichick was my coach, but I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good player. Pretty good player.
I
And
was,
then,
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, so no, he proved it with look at the stats: 29-37, just a casual 271, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Amazing. Hey? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just shocking the world, just continues to keep going. And the other crazy thing about that game was they were up 31-0, and they were stalled on 4 drives, and it was because the Eagles came and sacked Brady on a 3rd down play on 4 of the drives that ended up stopping them and forcing a punt. But it could have got a lot worse if they would have, been able to just convert a couple of more of those 3rd down plays. It would have been, really, really rough. I saw that he has got his, I think it was, he's got more playoff victories after the age of 37 than any other quarterback has had in their entire career before. So that is a shocking stat after shocking stat. Almost every time I watch a Bucs game, I just see stats that just make me have to stop and pause and read it again and look at it again. I take a picture so I could blow it up and look at it like, really? That's whoa, okay, another stat like that. Oh man, he is just, I think, what did you say yesterday? He's God's second child or something like that.
But not his adopted son. He's got money on him all the time. It's like, well, I got money on Tom, and people like, I'm out. Got to put money on Tom again. I'm out. He's gonna win, by the way. He's not gonna lose.
Second coming of God. He has another kid out there. Yeah, it's
His name's Tom Brady.
it's crazy. I would never bet against Tom Brady and all the accomplishments and all what he can do. So I feel sorry for the Rams having to go up against him. And it's probably going to be inevitable. On the same NFC side, we've got the Packers, who had the bye. Going in, we've got Aaron Rodgers looking like he might get another MVP. He's had a topsy-turvy year, had a horrible first game, a lot of fighting, saying I want out of here. Had this COVID weird stuff happen, but he had a phenomenal year, ended up getting the #1 seed. And now they face the 49ers. And I think this game is probably going to be just a running affair. Whoever can control the clock the longest, whoever has the best running attack. We've got A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones on the one side, and we've got the rushing attack from the Niners, which is a 3-prong attack. I think that's just going to be a running game. I don't think Rodgers is actually going to put up 300 yards and have to win it by himself. I think that's what what I'm expecting is a running affair.
You know what? I'm gonna take a different perspective.
Okay.
I'm going to say the whatever team wins this game is going to be the team that it's gonna come down to between Deebo Samuel for the 49ers and Devontae Adams for the Packers.
Okay.
Whoever has better stats, I'm gonna say it right now at the end of that game, that's the team that wins.
Okay. Wow.
That's the team that wins.
Nice call. Deebo has become just an absolute amazing weapon, and it's pretty wild. He's starting to get records that nobody's had before. Most teams, have their receivers, and they use them as receivers, and they have their running backs, and they use them as running backs. But Shanahan has decided to use him in the backfield and out in coverage like that. Look at his stats week after week. He's getting 10, 15 carries on the ground. He's, catching 4, 5, 6 balls. He's putting up hundreds of yards. Had another great game this past game, had a touchdown, 10 carries, 72 yards. If you're getting 7 yards a carry, how are you going to be stopped if you got a wideout that's coming in and taking the ball? 7 yards a carry is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. And what Shanahan has realized is I just got to get this guy the ball in his hands. He's my best skilled offensive player. So it doesn't matter if he gets it in the backfield, if I pass it to him. I just got to get him the ball, and then he'll do the rest. And that's what Deebo Samuel is for this team. He'll do the rest. Just got to get him the ball.
Yeah, it was impressive. They ran the ball 38 times on Saturday, and Jimmy G only had to throw it 25 times. They don't have a ton of confidence in him. It seems like most people don't, but as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes, he had one pick, but as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes, I think the Niners have a real shot at making a game out of this one.
Yes, they do. They most certainly do. And it was unfortunate with the one pick that Jimmy G did have, because it gave the Cowboys a chance to win the game. And then, they don't understand clock management stuff, so that's cool. But anyways, all he has to do is just manage the game. And then if he has a stellar game, well, then that's going to really put the Packers behind the 8 ball, because if he plays really, really well without turning over the ball, that's going to be a tough game for the Packers. Real tough.
Yeah, real tough. Okay, speaking about the Cowboys, it's been 11 consecutive years that they've been in the playoffs and haven't advanced to the NFC Championship game, haven't won a Super Bowl since '96. 4th worst winning percentage in the playoffs since '96. What does Uncle Jerry do now? He has all these weapons on offense, all these really amazing acquisitions on D. They had a phenomenal year, led the league in scoring. I read out a stat where, they had a 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver, 10 sacks, 10 picks, first team in history to do all this stuff. And boom, they lose out in the first game of the playoffs. This was almost given away by the Niners, but like you said, clock management, horrible mistake by Dak Prescott running through the middle on the last play of the game where they didn't get another chance. But Uncle Jerry must be really furious. And do you think some heads are going to roll? Do you think he's going to get rid of the coach, get rid of the quarterback? Do you think some of these guys are going to take the fall for another really early exit in the playoffs?
I think if anybody takes the fall, it might be the head coach, Mike McCarthy. Yeah. There was a couple of things in that game where I'm like, that's just undisciplined, penalties that they're taking. It just showed an undisciplined
14 team. Of them, 14 penalties. They led the league in penalties this year, and very undisciplined. And that has to fall on the coach, really.
Exactly. That actually has to fall squarely on this coach's shoulders. Yeah. Squarely. So I look at that. I look at the poor clock management, with him even saying, well, with the quarterback draw and we have 14 seconds. Really? You're going to run the ball. You're not going to try to pass it and then get it out of bounds. And no, you're going to run the ball. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't. You didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
18, 20 seconds. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can probably do it. But 14? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was super crazy. And they had been marching the ball on that drive. They were throwing 10, 15-yard, 20-yard outs, and they were, great clock management. Some reason the Niners were just handling the middle of the field, and then boom, 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 boom. And then suddenly the Niners started going to the outside, and they're like, okay, go through the middle. We dare you. And they did, they fell for the trap. They went through the middle, couldn't get another ball snapped, and boom, out. It broke a lot of hearts. It made a lot of people mad. I want to share one thing real quick. This is Barry Grant Jr.'s reaction to the Cowboys not happening, not making it out.
Okay.
I don't see it. No, it's supposed to be there, but I don't see it on my share board. So he just was like this. Why? No. Why? He just said that about 6 times. It was pretty funny. I've really always disliked Dallas, though. I really haven't been a fan. I don't like a lot of the things. I was always bothered when I was young that they called themselves America's team. And I'm like, why do you get to call yourselves that? Like, how is that a thing? I don't agree. And and when Jerry took over, I just feel like it hasn't been run like a proper NFL franchise should be run, where you got, a respect. You got a lot of, people are clamoring to be there because it's run so professionally. I just don't think he understands how to run a team well, and it's too bad because he's got the money, he makes a great facility, he does puts a lot on that brand, but they haven't been run very well for a very, very, very long time.
It's flashy though. Looks nice. Looks good. There's no substance to it.
Yeah.
It looks nice. And it makes me money. That's I'm sorry. Maybe that's the way the Jerry's looking at it, because It's like, well, we haven't since 96 or whatever. Yeah. But look at how much money this thing generates. And you can't deny that. They're a super popular team all across the US, and it is a moneymaker. Yeah. But if he wants to actually win again, he's gonna have to change something. Something's got to change on that squad, on that team. And I think the easier route to take would be to change the head coach and see if that makes a bona fide difference. Because the players, I'm sorry, with all those stats you just said about all the players that are on that team, I don't know if the players are the problem. Yeah, maybe it's the coach.
Maybe, yeah. But I look at teams like Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've had 3 coaches in their entire history. 3 coaches. Tomlin has never had a losing season because he's consistent. The team knows what they expect. Ben Roethlisberger, great quarterback, Hall of Fame career, not the greatest quarterback of his era, even by far. There was a lot more better quarterbacks that, really, had the skills maybe better, but consistency year after year after year, you knew what you're going to have with the Steelers, and they made the playoffs every year. They came in on the skin of their teeth in this year, but they still made the playoffs with a winning record game.
Yeah. No, they are consistent. The Steelers are a model of consistency, whereas the Cowboys are not that. They are the opposite of that. No. They are nothing but heartbreak for that fan base, which deserves better. Yeah, they do. So
it was crazy seeing so much footage from the old days when in the 90s, the Niners and the Cowboys were the 2 teams that were the elite teams, and they were having some incredible battles. So many Hall of Famers on both rosters. It's amazing how the mighty can fall after, being up there so high for so many years. Both teams were really good. And I don't know, tough times. The Niners, obviously they made the Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago, but they're just not the mighty Niners like we remember. But great to see a lot of that footage between those teams, Cowboys and the Niners in the 90s. It was awesome to watch those games.
No, those games were epic in scope and in battles and stuff. Like, so you literally had the best of the best going against each other all the time, like Jerry going against Dion and stuff like that. Like it was awesome, man.
So good. Yeah, so good. Okay, I mentioned the Steelers. We'll turn to the AFC and talk about the Chiefs, defending champions of the AFC the last couple seasons. Won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, came up against Tom Brady and the Bucs last year, and obviously were beat. But the Chiefs are firing on all cylinders, looking phenomenal. Patrick Mahomes was on fire again, set another record with I think it's his 4th 400-yard 5 TD performance. And they just steamrolled the Steelers, even though, the Steelers, made the playoffs. This was another one-sided affair.
It was, but it started off well for the Steelers first. Right. Like that TJ Watt scoops up a fumble, takes it in for a 6, and you're just like, oh, wow. Steelers could make this interesting. Yeah. And then that's not what happened, like at all. The Chiefs scored, then answered back by scoring 5 unanswered touchdowns, and then the game was over.
Yeah, they just absolutely stomped on them. Like I can't believe when the Chiefs are firing on all cylinders, it's beauty to watch.
Yeah, it's just an onslaught. It's an avalanche of just offense where you're like, oh, okay, who just caught the ball this time? Jesus, it's almost like there's more receivers than there should be out there.
Yeah.
It seems like where it's just like, how'd that guy get open? Where did he come from? What's going on? So yeah, it's just an offensive onslaught. That's what they do when they're really on, and that's what they did to the Steelers. What this game was not close.
No, it was a blowout. Mahomes, as I said, yeah, so efficient, 30 for 39, 404 yards and 5 touchdowns. Even had Kelsey throwing a touchdown pass. Pretty incredible. They found another weapon as a rusher on Jerick McKinnon. He was great. And then everybody contributed. They've got speed demons like McCole Hardman. Byron Pringle had a couple TD catches. Kelsey and DeMarcus Robinson was good. Tyreek Hill had a even slow game compared to him, but he still got it into the end zone. But man, this Chiefs team is really has pulled it together. They had such a bad start and they were so up and down early, but they've really come on now. And this game coming up is probably going to be the game of the year. It might be the game of the entire year, Super Bowl and everything included. Chiefs, Bills, both offensive juggernauts. This one's going to be super exciting on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because they're both coming off of very dominant wins against their opponents. Super dominant wins. They're looking like the teams that we always thought they were.
Yeah.
And now they get to play each other. So I think out of all the games, this is probably going to be the must-watch one. That's going to be the closest one, I think.
Out of all the games this past weekend, home teams dominated. We got one upset Bengals over the Raiders, but after that, it's been dominated by tons of most of the home teams. This one is in Kansas City. I think that will make it Chiefs favored, but Bills, man, I think they could really give them a run for their money. I think this is going to be something like a 48-45 score. Last team has the ball, kicks a field goal, and wins the game. Might even be overtime.
No, I completely agree with you. That it could definitely be that kind of game where it's just an old-fashioned shootout, and these guys are just going for it. Like I believe you're right. I think it could be the last team that has the ball in their hands. Whatever team that is the team that wins.
Wow. So I've got a stat here. I was talking about Mahomes getting 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, regular seasons and playoff combined. Mahomes is the second player ever to do it in the playoffs. Ben Roethlisberger did it once, but this is his 4th time in doing it in his 72nd start. He passed 3 guys that are tied with 3 performances, 400 passing yards and 5 TDs. Peyton Manning, 292 starts. Dan Marino, 258 starts. And Joe Montana, 187 starts. Patrick Mahomes passed them, has the record now, 72 starts, 4 performances, 400 yards, and 5 TDs. Another guy, that's going to start breaking records and passing everybody except Brady, probably.
Yeah. So it's going to be great because Mahomes is going to be like, that quarterback that's under Brady. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I couldn't play in the league for, 24, 25 years. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'll have to just decide, okay, well, I'm second best.
Yeah.
I got $500 million, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it because that other guy, nobody's beating that other guy. It's done. No. It's over. It's a wrap.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of 500 yards speaking of 5 touchdowns, that's what Josh Allen had. 300 yards passing, 5 TDs. The Bills absolutely stomped on the Patriots. Not even close in this game. The Bills have given the hoodie the worst beatings in his career, the 3 worst beatings, 31 and 30 twice, beat them by 30 points. Yeah, this was, I expected the hoodie to be able to come up with a game plan that would make this close, but no, he wasn't able to stop the onslaught.
No, he wasn't, because the Bills are just better than his team. I think they're just a lot better than his team.
Yeah.
And they showed that, like, at the halftime, the score is 27-3. Oh, okay. Well, the game's over.
Yeah.
And pretty much was, man. And the Bills didn't turn over the ball, I don't think. Allen was 21 of 25, 308 yards, 5 TDs. Singletary, 16 attempts for 81 yards, 2 TDs. Knox, 5 receptions, 89 yards, 2 TDs. Had 6 touchdowns right there. It was an utter decimation.
Incredible. Yeah. So many of these games were over so quick. It was too bad. I watched them to the bitter end like I always do, but I'm sure the viewership was going down pretty bad in lots of these games because it was complete blowout. The Bills are really, really, really a juggernaut right now. Their punter has only kicked a punt in 1 of the last 4 games. He's only been asked to come out and punt 1 time in the last 4 games. This game, he was not asked to come out and punt. They had 7 straight drives where they scored a touchdown. They had, and this is the first team ever that had 0 field goals, 0 punts, 0 turnovers in a game and scoring on their first 7 drives. They kneeled down on their 8th drive. It is the only time they ever even got a 4th down. So it was incredible to watch. Just they got the ball. They were scoring a touchdown. There was no stopping them.
Yeah, it was almost like grown men playing against children. Like it was, they bullied them. They bullied them all over the field, and they were proud about it. It's like, right. Yeah, it was just an utter decimation.
Yeah.
Took them apart.
I have learned for many years not to bet against Tom Brady, and I also learned not to bet against Bill Belichick, but I really wish I would have put my fortune on the Bills on this one. This was just a stomping rookie quarterback. So, you thought maybe the odds should have been, maybe 14, 17 points difference, but these odds were really close, and a lot of people expected the Patriots to make it close. But Mac Jones played not bad, but a couple picks really hurt them, and they just couldn't stop them on defense, which was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and they had no answers for them on that side of the ball, and the Bills just abused them wholeheartedly throughout the course of that game. And it was, they beat them up. They didn't give him a chance, and they didn't let him off the mat, and it was over pretty quick.
It was over very quick. Incredible. Just mind-blowing. Kendrick Bourne had a great game, 7 catches, 77 yards, and a couple TDs, but he's the only guy that did anything really for them. And they'll go back to the drawing board. I don't think many people expected them to bounce back so well after the Cam Newton experience didn't really work. They were able to get Mac Jones in, and I think they played above expectations all year, but they were, definitely not the elite team this year. Getting into the playoffs was great, but I think Belichick will go back to the drawing board, figure out what else he needs, make a lot of moves in the offseason here, and I think we're going to see a force to be reckoned with next year from them.
Yeah, and also too, like the rookie quarterback will have now a year under his belt with playoff experience as well.
Yeah,
and so that will serve him well in the next season coming forth.
That's true. Yeah. So okay, let's look at the other AFC matchup, and that's the Titans. They had the #1 overall seed, had the bye going in this week, and they get to host the Bengals. Bengals were able to knock off the Raiders, and move on. Man, the Bengals offense looks really good too. But the Titans are obviously getting Derrick Henry back from all accounts, and yes, will be healthy, fully rested. Probably a lot of their injured guys will be ready to go. This should be a good game, but what do you think? What do you think we're going to see?
I'm kind of worried for the Bengals because you have a healthy Derrick Henry that you have to deal with, who hasn't been beat up over the course of a season.
Yeah,
he was already really hard to deal with before all of that, and now he's super fresh and hungry. And so first and foremost for the Bengals is stopping that man.
Right.
And then they'll have to deal with everybody else after that. And if they can't stop Derrick Henry, it's going to be a massacre.
Yeah.
Saying it right now.
Yeah, no kidding. That Raiders Bengals game was close. Raiders were marching down to try to get a touchdown late to tie it. And then Jermaine Pratt ended up grabbing the ball right at the goal line, pulling off a pick off Derek Carr and getting the victory. But it was a fun game to watch, very, very tight and close throughout. I thought the Raiders, could have definitely tied it very easily there and sent it into overtime. The Raiders blew everybody away this year. Only team to make the playoffs after making a midseason coaching change like they did. They've had some players get arrested. They've had some really big, tough setbacks, but I think it was a big accomplishment for them just making the playoffs, and they could have easily been in the second round. But I think they should re-up the coach, take the interim tag off of him. I think he did a great job pulling this team together.
Oh yeah, well, considering all the stuff that you just mentioned that they went through, it was a hectic season for the Raiders, big time, and they almost won this game. And you could say that one of the touchdowns that the Bengals scored under extreme controversy,
right,
possibly shouldn't have even been a touchdown.
Whistle was blown for sure. Yeah, and the one defender looked like he gave up. He stopped playing as he was coming across to try to defend that. So yeah, I agree. That was crazy because the whistle was definitely blown before the ball was caught.
Yes, and so and how that ended up being after, because the ref said no, we whistled it after he caught the football, which was clearly not the case.
Yeah.
So that refereeing crew is no longer doing any more playoff games.
Wow.
And so that tells you all you need to know if they made a mistake or not, because they sure did.
Yeah, they sure did. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I was shocked that they they didn't review it and make a change on that. Bengals still could have scored a touchdown, but definitely it was a very, very, very controversial move. And this game was a lot closer than I expected. Jamar Chase has had an absolutely amazing year as a rookie coming in. Joe Burrows looked great. This team is actually really good offensively, and they had a good game defensively. I hope they make a game out of it with the Titans. Titans have proved to be a great team this year, and losing Derrick Henry, one of the MVPs when he went down. This will be tough sledding for the Bengals to try to stop this team.
Yeah, it will be tough, but they do have the capabilities to win this game. Yeah. They most certainly do. Yeah. They'll just have to limit their turnovers, and Burrows and Chase will probably have to step up immensely and have stellar games to give themselves a chance to win this game.
Burrows has been sacked league high 51 times this year. That's the worst in the NFL. The Raiders only got to him twice in this game, so maybe they figured out some protection. Titans were 9th in the NFL with 43 sacks, so watch that as being very crucial. The Titans have the 25th pass-ranked defense, so I can see Burrow putting up some big numbers. I think Mixon will get a lot of carries, and I think he'll be definitely a weapon to utilize for the Bengals to go far. But I think Burrow and Chase, I put some money on them to have some big days on the weekend.
Yes, I definitely would, and hopefully Michigan can chip in with a good 100-yard game as well. Like you're just going to need the Bengals are going to need their top offensive talents to be their best for this game for them.
You're right. Yeah. So, okay. So the Titans host the Bengals early. That's the 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern time on Saturday, first game of the weekend. Packers host the Niners, the 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern, Saturday evening. Then Sunday, we've got the Bucs hosting the Rams, noon, 3 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. And then Chiefs host the Bills, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. The game of the weekend, in my opinion. Quite often those divisional or wild card games, those wild card games, usually there is a couple blowouts, but these 4 matchups should be really amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be highly entertaining football from the 8 teams left, and I am looking forward to watching all of these games over the weekend.
Yeah, me too. I heard that there's a few injury updates. Jimmy Garoppolo has a slight shoulder sprain. He has had a lot of treatment this week, and he's practicing in a limited fashion. Joey Bosa has a concussion from that game, and he's still in concussion protocol, hasn't been cleared yet. Speaking of concussions, Buda Baker, scary moment last night. He was hit in a collision with Cam Akers. Luckily, he was released from hospital today. Seemed to get a clear bill of health, and will be recovering at home, luckily. So good to see. That was a bit scary. The Bengals defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, is in concussion protocol, but he was actually able to practice in a limited fashion today. So hopefully that protocol has been completely removed. And there's obviously week 19 of the NFL. There's going to be a lot of guys banged up, but hopefully most guys can be healthy, and we can see these teams at their full capacity. And I was super stoked and really looking forward to these games last weekend, but I think looking forward now, I think I'm even more excited about the games coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I most certainly am. Cream has risen to the top, and so now we get to see the best of the best go get after it, so it can cut down to 4 more teams. And again, I'm looking forward to watching all these games, especially the Bills versus the Chiefs, and just to be extremely entertained over the course of this weekend.
Yeah. An unfortunate side note and ending to the NFL coverage. There was an arrest early last night. The Browns defensive tackle Malik McDowell arrested for public exposure, aggravated battery of police officers, and resisting arrest. So sounds like a tough incident. I'm sure we're going to hear more coming out of this, but public exposure was the first one. So I don't know what that was all about and what started the police being involved, but I'm kind of interested in seeing what happened here.
Sounds like a trench coat type of thing, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard of others having that trench coat problem, but it's been a while since I heard that. So I
think you've been doing that, and you can't do that. You can't do that.
Please. Last thing I want to mention is Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 against the 49ers in the playoffs. Never beat the 49ers in his playoff career.
Oh, really? That's crazy. That's nuts.
Isn't
Didn't know
that?
Yeah.
I was happy to see that little stat today, and made me think, maybe I should put a little money on the Niners.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, why don't we switch to the UFC? First card in 2022, a 1-month break that I hated. I'm off. Give me fights. Come on, we're all off. We're on holidays. It's nice to have a week break, 2-week break, but like a month? Why? Come on. It was really hard to endure that. But this card was okay. I wouldn't say it was one of the best cards. We had a great main event, fight of the year so far. But there was a lot of decisions, only a couple of knockouts in this one. Why don't we talk about that main event? Really amazing fight in the featherweight division. Two top contenders, really evenly matched. We thought going in, most people had Giga winning this. He hasn't been stopped since his UFC career has begun, but Calvin Kattar was the man. Put a serious beating on Giga Chikadze and solidified his position in the division, and really amazing good performance there.
Yeah, like he had a great game plan, which was go forward and push him back.
Yeah.
Take away one of his weapons, which is his kicks.
Right.
Because like it's really hard to kick as you're going backwards.
Yeah.
And so he kept going back. He kept going forward, pushing him back, knowing that he would have to go into the fire, get into his striking range, and take hits, which he did. He weathered the storm really well, by the way. Man. Great defense, hands were up, and he cracked Giga not only with his hands, but with his elbows. His elbow strikes were absolutely lethal on his feet. Absolutely lethal.
Yeah. You made a comment earlier today that you thought that one of his elbows put Giga in trouble the rest of the fight. Seemed like his balance was off. He didn't seem to have a stable foundation on his feet. I thought that most of the fight, I wasn't thinking it came from an elbow. I just thought it had come from shots or something, but he definitely looked off, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that elbow came like sometime in the second round where I really noticed him wobble. And he would seem like he was on sea legs for the rest of the fight.
Yeah,
he was like that for the rest of the fight. And it's really hard to try to win a fight of that magnitude when you're already shook from the second round on.
Yeah,
and it was just Kattar was an onslaught. Kattar beat him like Holloway beat him the fight before.
Yeah,
and I think that's what Calvin Kattar learned. He learned that sometimes you got to go through the fire to take out these top guys, and that's what he did. He basically did what Max Holloway did to him, and he followed it to a T, and he got the win.
Yeah, good point. Calvin Kattar got beat up really bad about a year ago by Max Holloway, and he was able to use that same game plan and beat Giga, who was coming on. The thing about Chikadze was that everyone thought that he was going to be one of the next contenders for the title, was that his kickboxing history, 46 fights as a kickboxer, some of the top guys in the world. His kicks were super lethal and deadly against many of his opponents. But they figured out a game plan. Those calf kicks have been something that's been in the UFC and starting to become some very utilized weapon, but a lot of guys didn't really know what to do, how to get away from absorbing those kicks. But Kattar had the perfect game plan.
Yeah, he really did. He didn't give him the opportunity to really throw his kicks or any kicking techniques, period. He just took it away from him. And he did the game plan to perfection. He really did. It was just the one less thing that he really had to worry about being fired back at him when he was fighting Giga. It was a great win, dominating win. I think all the judges basically had it 50-45.
Yeah. Okay, so there's been lots of chatter since. There's been lots of talk. Giga is really mad at Korean Zombie for getting this shot against the champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Giga wants to fight the Korean Zombie, but he's the next guy at the getting the title shot. Max Holloway was supposed to be in this fight and got injured, so they had to find a replacement. Korean Zombie's the guy next up. Does he have a shot against Volkanovski?
I think so. I think he's definitely got a puncher's chance. I think Volkanovski's has better technique standing up than Korean Zombie, but Korean Zombie's got power that you cannot deny.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that man's power.
There's a lot of talk that the next opponent for Calvin Kattar should be Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez. There's talk that they might be putting those two guys into the cage against each other first, and then Kattar would face the winner of that. I'm super excited for all those possibilities.
Me too. I actually, to be honest with you, I like that idea better of Yair and Ortega fighting and then Kattar fighting the winner of that, because he's going to need to heal up anyways.
Yeah.
So he's going to need some time and space. Yeah. So I love that idea, because I'd love to see what Ortega and Yair Rodriguez would bring to the table. They fought each other.
Yeah.
Very entertaining fight.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think we see from Giga? Is this a big step back? Is he going to need a lot of time to recover from this beating?
Well, first off, you're definitely going to need time to recover from this beating. I saw his post pictures when he was at the hospital. Yeah, he's going to need some time to heal that face. But is it a major setback? No. He fought somebody in the top 5 and didn't win. Okay. All right. So, and he was number 8. So I don't even necessarily think he loses his positioning in the rankings, to be honest with you.
Okay. Okay, why don't we turn to the co-main event? We had a heavyweight battle. Jake Collier faced Chase Sherman, and the prototype really just dominated this one. He got a very quick victory. He was able to catch a kick from Chase, take him down, spin him around, get his back, and get a rear naked choke in for a tap. This was, really a man against a boy. Chase Sherman, this is his second time in the UFC. This is his 3rd straight loss. Just really looking overmatched, I think, in the last few fights, and he might have had his last UFC fight. Yeah,
he was completely outmatched in this fight. Like, Collier was tagging him with shots whenever he wanted to throw them to hit him. Like, it was just target practice for him out there. And then when he finally put him to the ground, slowly worked the choke it. Like, it wasn't hard for him to beat this man. No. He was completely outmatched.
Yeah. Are you surprised that he used to fight at middleweight?
I don't see how it was possible. like you look at him and I'm like, nah, I was surprised. I was surprised when I heard that. I'm like, I don't remember what he looked like. I just don't remember him. I don't remember.
He has to cut weight to get to 265 too. So I don't know. It's amazing that he's been able to, fight only a few years ago at that weight and be able to, start putting on these pounds and being good, not just totally out of shape like some of the heavyweights we have seen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's clearly been training hard. It's just his body type that that's how some fighters' body types are. They're just like that. So, but it's just a super dominating win against a guy that I probably shouldn't be in the UFC anymore.
No, unfortunately. I think Sherman's just overmatched against these guys, and it didn't look good. It was a real quick quick submission, and out of there it was over. Okay, let's talk about the Rogerio Bontorin and Brandon Royval. There was a tap by Rogerio that wasn't noticed, and the fight kept going on and ended up going to decision. I actually thought Bontorin won the fight. If I was judging it, I would have given it to Bontorin for the decision. But did you see the tap on the armbar that wasn't noticed by the referee somehow?
It was like this.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's what you want to see, right? I saw the tap, and he was almost going for the other tap, but he didn't. Yeah. And then the ref didn't see that. But that's a tap, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the judges were making up for the fact of said tap.
Maybe. Yeah.
But at the same time, when I reviewed this fight, I don't see how Royval won it. I just don't. I don't see it. I just
Yeah.
don't see it. If I'm looking at the entirety of the fight with Bontarine basically doing the positioning through the grappling exchanges and winning the grappling exchanges and having his back for at least half of the fight, like, okay, so where did Royval win it?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It shouldn't have went to decision, but yeah, when it did, I thought, okay, yeah, this was definitely Bontarine's. But man, it was a quick tap and it was easy to miss, but there should be I think there should be somewhere where official can, say, oh, hang on a second, we noticed it. Can we go to a replay and watch it? Because there was definitely a tap there. He didn't tap it more than once, but he had tapped him on the leg, and he should have had the loss, but it ended up in a just judgment. But it was weird to see the judges judging it that way. So I don't know. It worked out in the end, but very strange how it all came about.
Yes, super strange. And now that we know that, like for most of the UFC fights, there's not just a judge in the octagon, but there's also judges outside and referees outside to help with instant replays and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that they need to look into, because a ref is human. He's not always going to be in the correct position to call what he needs to call.
Exactly.
So sometimes extra eyes is going to help him. And if something like that were to happen, maybe then that's when the UFC has to have a rule saying, no, we can go to the replay and see if you did what we think you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it would just make the sport better, more legit, more, less controversy. Because I think that, having it right is the best way to go about it. And, it definitely could have not turned out properly, but it did. So we can move on. Okay, there was a women's fight. Caitlin Chukagyan beat Jennifer Meyer second time in a couple of years. They fought before, and she was able to get a decision on her. Speaking of decisions, though, she's got 10 wins in the UFC, and they're all by decision. Not the most exciting fighter. Grinds out these wins. She's number 2 ranked, but I don't really enjoy her fights much myself. She just does enough to win. She's, definitely better than most of the girls in this division, but 10 decisions, I'm not a fan of decisions. Like, try to get some victories here. Try to get some stoppages.
Yeah, well, to me, she reminds me kind of a point fighter.
Yeah.
And she's a very good fighter, like very technically sound in her approach. And she managed distance beautifully in this fight, but she just doesn't have the power to put people away. She has to do it with overwhelming volume.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a lot of overwhelming volume, but there's nothing really coming back that I thought that Maya was really afraid of. The thing that beat Maya was the fact that she got completely outworked.
Yeah.
Because Chukagyan's work rate is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so that's how she wins the fights. If you're not punching or kicking with her, you're gonna have a very hard time beating her.
Yeah. I've mentioned this a few times before, and I guess I'll say it again. One of the reasons why Dana White was so adamant about not having women in the UFC for years and years and years was there wasn't enough depth. And this is an example of it. Chukagyan has beat a lot of these people below her in the rankings twice. It was a dominant performance against Maya before, so I don't know why they put this together again. It really didn't move the needle, in my opinion. These two fighters aren't evenly matched, so Chukagyan got another victory. Chukagyan actually ended her fight contract. She does not have a fight going forward under contract with the UFC. She has become a free agent as of Sunday. So there are other organizations that she's talking to. She might move on. It would be surprising to see someone as high ranked as number 2 decide to leave and the UFC not sign her. But as of now, she does not have a contract going forward.
Yeah. I know what the right thing for the UFC would be to do, because it's kind of hard to argue if you're just going to give up on the number 2 prospect in the division.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what is that saying about your organization? It's like, usually for a number two, regardless of who the fighter is, you just match it so that they stay with your organization.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they'll do in this particular situation. I don't know.
Yeah. There is talk that Jessica Andrade could be her next opponent. We'll see if she does put that together. That is her last loss. She got knocked out by Jessica at the end of the first round in Abu Dhabi in October of 2020. She's had 4 wins, and that loss before. Her loss before that was against Valentina for the title, and that was back in February of 2020. She fought for the title, was overmatched by Shevchenko, but yeah, I don't know. I think that Andrade fight would probably be something that she would be entertaining, because it's always nice to try to avenge a loss.
Yes, I think that's definitely something that interests her immensely, because every fighter wants to avenge their loss that they've had, right? So, and this would be her chance to do that. So I think they definitely go forward if she's under contract.
Yeah. Okay, let's mention the newcomer, Vyacheslav Borshev. He's called Slava Claus. He came in UFC debut, had a really great performance, was able to take out Dakota Bush, a highly ranked prospect himself, James Krause protege. But Borshev ended up throwing a liver shot that Bush could not take, dropped him, and he was done. It was a lethal, deadly, perfectly landed shot, and a really nice debut for this newcomer.
Beautiful technique. Great leverage on the hook shot to the liver, and dropped him, and it was over as soon as he dropped him. The guy was defenseless. It was a done deal. Yeah. Ref came in, saved his life. Yeah, very impressive by Borshev. The shot kind of came out of nowhere too.
Yeah,
it was all of a sudden, bang, done.
Yeah, it was over immediately. He got 50K for it, one of the bonuses. Nice way to change his life. Finally getting an opportunity at the biggest promotion in the world, getting his fight win bonus and getting the 50K. 6-1, looking good coming in. Lots of talk that his next opponent could be and should be TJ Brown, who's also on this card and had a victory. We'll see what shakes down from him going forward, but I liked what I saw in a limited amount of time from Borshev. But I think he could be a pretty good lightweight coming in.
Yeah, it's a good prospect to keep an eye on, because we know he can throw that liver shot, and he throws it quite effectively.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have much to say about the Bill Algeo, Joe Anderson Brito fight?
Not much, other than the fact that Algeo looked good. Again, kept his distance well. Pepper Brito, outworked him eventually. And I felt that Brito was losing steam nearing the end of this fight. Algeo looked good. Great pressure.
Yeah, he looked really good. I thought, he was on point and had better cardio, better stamina. He seemed to take the fight on. Really started getting better as the fight wore on. Very tactical approach, very measured. Was able to kick off the main card in a good fashion and get a big victory. Okay, why don't we just mention a little bit about the prelims. We saw a UFC debut by Joseph Holmes against Jamie Pickett. I was quite bored by this fight, actually, and I don't say that too often, but it wasn't much. There wasn't much there for me to really think, oh yeah, I'd love to break this down. It's really seemed pretty boring. Pickett ground out a win, but what about you?
Pickett ground out a win. Great job, Pickett. But it's like, man, like I was watching the fight going like, this is painful. Like it was like there was just not a lot going on. They grapple against the fence a little bit, they throw some shots, it was a fight that dragged And it was just sometimes fights are like that. And this fight was most certainly like that. There was no fireworks. There was no nothing.
I expected more from Holmes. I know he came through the Dana White Contender Series, didn't make it, had to go to Looking for a Fight series and got in that way. I expected him to come in with fireworks and, try to get a very quick and early finish. But I didn't see much from him. So he'll have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe it was first fight jitters being on the biggest stage, but really not a guy that moved the needle for me. So he better change his approach next time. But somebody that really brought it, that I was really impressed with, was Court McGee. He came and really showed superior skill in this one. Really looked great. I was impressed. He said his neighbor lady said he's too nice of a guy. He doesn't like beating people up. Why don't you just change your persona, be the crusher every time you're in there for those 15 minutes and then, be your good self when you leave the cage. And he was the crusher. He looked great in this performance.
Yeah, no, he looked fantastic. Like, he was tactically on point, and everything just seemed to flow naturally in his fight that he fought this one. Like, that was probably one of the best performances of Court McGee that I've seen in any UFC to date. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's great that he's getting so good. His performance was awesome. Yeah, I was blown away. He was far and away the better fighter on this night. Brian Kelleher, the veteran, was really dominant in his performance. I like watching him. He's a very entertaining fighter, and he was great in his decision win.
Yeah. And eventually, as he usually does with any of his opponents, if he gets the better view in the grappling exchanges, that's how he usually wins the fight. And that's how he won this fight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I forgot to mention that Bill Algeo had a very weird call out after his fight. He called out Giga Chikadze, and he said that he did it because Chikadze was a Biden supporter and he voted for Biden. And I was like, no, he didn't. No, he's not a American, and he didn't vote for him. So I don't know why he decided to throw the politics in there and say, yeah, I want you, Giga, but it was a weird call out for sure.
This is the weirdest call out I've ever heard in my life. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he even has a hard time speaking English. So what are you talking about? Yeah, it was, whatever he was going for didn't work.
No.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay, the first fight of the night was actually a pretty good fight. TJ Brown, Charles Rosa. Brown was, definitely, in my opinion, the better fighter, but Rosa, game guy, brought a lot to it. Another James Krause guy, and that New England Mafia team has been bringing a lot of good fighters to the table. I was pretty impressed with him, but TJ Brown ended up getting a decision win.
Yeah. Brown was ready for this fight, and Rosa was brought in on very short notice.
Yeah.
So he also had that to overcome for himself, whereas Brown had a full fight camp, and it just outlasted the man. Yeah. Really, like it just, he had the better grappling exchanges nearing the end, and Rosa was losing steam because of his little fight camp that he had.
Yeah, I actually think there was 4 fighters that came in on short notice on this one, so maybe that's why it wasn't as great of a card. Way too many decisions. All 4 preliminary fights go to decision. Main card, we saw another 3-4 decisions. Only 2 fights ended before the bell sounded for the last round. So usually I'm not a fan of cards like that. We've had one of the worst cards in history just a couple months back, but anyway, I'm glad that main event really put a shine on that card, and one to me was the best fight of the year so far out of anything we've seen.
Yeah. I can think I'd agree with you on that. Best fight of the year so far, for sure.
Okay, good. Okay, well, we've had to wait a little while for UFC 270, but it's upon us. We've got two title fights coming up this Saturday. It's coming from Houston, and it should be a fun. No, is it coming from? No, Anaheim, I believe. Anaheim, sorry.
Yeah.
Hasn't been in Anaheim for a couple of years. First time in a couple of years. But we've got the heavyweight battle. The baddest man on the planet will be crowned after this one. The champ facing the interim champ. A lot of words actually between these two, and we'll see how it turns out. Cyril Gane coming in maybe a little bit sooner than he should be. Only 10 fights into his professional career, but hasn't been beat yet. Faces this massive man in Francis Ngannou, and I think this will be fun to watch. I don't think Gane is going to be able to beat Ngannou, but what do you think?
I think Gane is going to do exactly what he's always been doing throughout this run here, his undefeated run, which is keep his distance and strike at distance, in and out, hit and not get hit.
Yeah.
And he's been very, very, very good at that.
True.
And then Ngannou probably is just looking at him saying, I just got to hit you once. That's it. So I think they're both going to be coming in with very different ideas of how to tactically employ their strategies for the fight.
Yeah.
But I think what Ngannou has to do effectively is close distance and throw strikes.
Sure.
And then Gane is going to have to get in and out as quickly as possible, so he doesn't get anything going in or like his counterattacks. He's going to have to try to blunt Ngannou's counterattacks as he's going in for his strikes as best he can.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to that one. I think it should be a great battle. I'm also looking forward to the trilogy fight between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo. You mentioned last week that Figueiredo has had a lot of troubles with the scale and hard to get down to this weight. He has hurt his performances with weight cutting. Hopefully he's done a change, has a bit better ability to get there, done some proper eating nutrition wise, and we see a better performance this time from Figueiredo, and it's a really good trilogy fight.
I hope so. And I don't want to hear the fact like he had problems cutting weight again, because he knows how hard it is for him to get to this weight class. So this time around, you've got to have done your homework. You have to be prepared. Because if you're not, again, then you probably shouldn't fight at this weight class. It's really too hard on you.
Yeah.
But I expect an absolute war. I expect this to be the best fight on the main card.
Yeah.
And because Brandon Moreno is not going to be giving away his belt, worked too hard for it. He wants to keep it. And Davison wants to show that I'm better than what I showed. I'm the best.
Yeah.
I expect an absolute war. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Should be great. Yeah. We've got the dancing queen, Michelle Pereira, on the card. We've got the god of war, Greg Hardy, who he's undefeated against his girlfriend, but has a hard time against some of the heavyweights in the UFC. We've got Khabib's cousin on the card. Always fun to see some of those Dagestani guys, and especially Khabib, who was one of the greatest of all time. That main card should be fun.
Yeah, the main card has got great fights on it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun watch, and especially the co-main event. I'm super excited to watch that. I'm really looking forward to that fight.
Yeah. On the prelim card, we've got Canadian Charles Air Jourdain. Love watching this guy. He's a really high up and comer in this featherweight division. Really good with his kicks. I expect him to rise up these ranks. Watched him a lot here in Canada over the years, and he's definitely one of the best prospects from here.
Yeah, and he's got a very, very game opponent in Taporia. I think that this fight that we're talking about right now definitely has the potential to be the best fight on the prelims.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got early prelims too. We got tons of fights on this card. It's going to be an all-day affair. Lots and lots and lots of fights to watch. We might be out of quarantine by then. Maybe we'll get a chance to get together and watch it. But yeah, there's a ton of fights on the card. Glad the UFC is back. Second card of 2022. I expect this one to be much better than last week's.
Yes, I expect it too. We've got some great fights on this card, and we should definitely be seeing some stoppages.
Yeah. Okay, let's just finish off with some NBA talk. Big rumor today that Frank Vogel is on the chopping block as the Lakers head coach. He might be getting the axe. He might have even got it already. Do you think it's justified after he brought them a title in 2020 in the bubble? 1 year where they had a bit of a down year. This year, they brought in Russell and it hasn't worked out here. Should he be taking the blame for them not having a great year?
No, but life's not fair. Actually, you know who should be taking the blame is? The GM who put together that horrible roster. That's actually the guy that should be get canned. He should be out of there. But he's not getting out of there because he likes his job. So he's just going to get rid of the coach. And that's it. It's a Band-Aid fix. But that roster is not good.
No,
it's not good enough to win. All right. And it's definitely not good enough to win when Anthony Davis is out of the lineup. So yeah, that's what they got.
I would love it if the coaches finally formed a union. I want them to form a union. There's no reason why they couldn't, why they shouldn't. All coaches should have unions, and they should be able to, have a little more job security. It's always, what have you done for me lately? Oh, you won me a title last year. Pete Carroll, I was mad last week. He's never had a losing season until this year there. Won the Super Bowl for him. Brought him to another great career. One down year. Get rid of the coach. Let's fire this guy. It's just unbelievable how quick of an axe it is on coaches these days.
Well, yeah, but that's the Pete Carroll thing. Yeah, but you could have had two. I don't know why. Yeah, no, wait, I do know why. So right. Yeah, man, it is right. About a bunch of what have you done for me lately? Yeah. It's not really that gratifying because when you win it all, they're just like, well, look at your team. It was really good. So it's almost like, oh, so they won in spite of me. That's good. Thank you. And then when they're garbage, it's like, burn the coach. Burn him.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah. Okay. The Warriors got Klay Thompson back. Amazing to see him back. He has just been easing into it. Hasn't had one of those Klay Thompson performances yet. But he looked a lot better than I expected him with 2 years off. But the Warriors are really missing Draymond. I think his absence has been really hurting them a ton. They've fallen down a little bit lately, losing a few games, only 4-6 in their last 10. It shows how valuable Draymond Green has been to this team and been, helping it be a juggernaut for many years.
He's their defensive quarterback back there. If he's not calling out who your assignments are because he knows what everybody's supposed to be doing, he's not quarterbacking it, then they're missing something. And it's clear in the way that they play. It's very clear because all of a sudden they're not getting the turnovers that they're used to get the quick, easy offense. They're not getting the stops that they're used to because Draymond's protecting the rim or being savvy about knocking the ball over, getting deflections. All of these things that he affects the game in so many ways. So he's absolutely integral to what they do. And with him out of the lineup right now, it shows. They're just not as good without him. Yeah. They're not.
It's been, it's been a big blow, and he's supposedly going to miss a couple more weeks. Another injury that happened that was a huge blow to a contending team was the Brooklyn Nets losing Kevin Durant. He has a sprained ligament in his knee. And that was an absolutely massive blow to Brooklyn. And I think we'll send them reeling quite a bit over the coming weeks. 4 to 6 weeks without him. No Kyrie at home games. I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, I would agree with you because they're not rushing Kevin Durant back for nothing, period. They're just going to have to make do. James Harden will have to play better, ? He'll have to step up his game, and Kyrie will have to do what he can whenever he plays with the away games.
Yeah.
But just not having the guy that's literally in MVP talks is going to hurt any team.
Yeah. The team in the East that's been surprising me is the Cavaliers. They've won 5 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. They've actually came up in only one game behind the Nets. This team has just been assembled, put together. They've got a lot of tall guys that they're starting, and it's working for them. I've been pretty impressed with many of their performances.
Yeah, they got a great team. They got a strong team. And it's not even their full complement because I believe Colin Sexton's out with an injury right now. So they have the potential to be even better than what they are right now. So it's cool to see that their rookie Mobley has meshed so well with the team already.
Yeah.
So well. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, it's been very huge. The Bulls have hit a bit of a skid. They've lost their last 4 games, only 5-5 in their last 10. Not sure what's wrong with them, but the Heat are coming on. They've won 7 of their last 10. They had Kyle Lowry out yesterday against the Raptors, but looking good. Suns are still cruising along, 8-2 in their last 10. Really the cream of the West right now, 4 in a row wins. And that run was surprising to a lot of people, but they're really proving it wasn't a fluke.
No, or Chris Paul's proving is like, no team that I'm on is a fluke. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's like with the Chris Paul team, it's like, oh, well, just gonna keep going on, just keep chugging. All we gotta do is just like execute the offense. Chris is the conductor. He conducts so incredibly well, Hall of Fame level at all times.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see.
Another guard that I've been really loving watching is John Morant. 9-1 in their last 10. They're suddenly nipping on the heels of the Warriors, 3rd in the Western Conference. And after a really big breakout rookie year, he's coming in the second year. He's turned it up in so many areas. Finally playing defense. And I've actually been hearing MVP talk from John Morant. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And what really stuck out to me is like their team defense took leaps, stellar leaps.
Big time.
When he got injured, all of a sudden they cranked it down. They went from the bottom of the league to the very top. Yeah. And that's what is winning them games more than anything else. Is that defense, that team defense that they play has been absolutely ridiculous to watch.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah, I'm loving Jaren Jackson. He's really fun to watch. The Mavericks are the team in the Western Conference that have the second longest winning streak, 3 in a row, 9 wins out of their last 10. And they've got the unicorn back. They've got Luka. They've got some pieces. Jalen Brunson's playing really good there. I've been very impressed when I've had a chance to see the Mavs play.
Yeah, well, they can just when you got Luka back there just doing Luka stuff. Yeah, it's not surprising to see them do well. It just isn't. Like that kid is absolutely amazing and terrifying to watch because he's so young. He has so much more to grow, and he's already this good.
Awesome. Yeah. It's fun. So many of these young guys, man, it's so fun. It's just bringing in such incredible rejuvenation to the league, and it's amazing how good they can be so quickly into their NBA career. It doesn't take them 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's very immediate, really good rookie year. Second year, they're even like so much better. Third year, holy cow, one of the best players in the league. And the future's bright for the NBA when we keep seeing guys like this. I should have mentioned this while we were talking about Brooklyn, but I will mention it now. Supposedly, James Harden is open to relocation to another team this summer. According to some NBA insiders, he has had enough. He wants to move on. I don't know if he'll, put on the weight again and pout, but are you shocked to hear this news?
No. I guess he was just like, it didn't happen in the first year. I'm out. I don't know what he expected. I guess he expected just to win immediately so he could just. But anyways, yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm just not surprised. Like sometimes you think super teams would last a little bit longer than 2 years, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Well, I knew that him and Durant couldn't have been happy with the way Kyrie's handled the whole vaccination thing and all this COVID stuff. So, I thought there would be some dissent there, but for him to already want to opt out, he's opting out of a contract next year that would pay him $47.4 million, make him a free agent. That's a lot of money to say no to, but I think there'll be a lot of takers to pay him more even, probably.
Yeah, no, there'll definitely be takers, but think about that for a second. That's how bad he wants out. That's ridiculous. He's willing to literally give up on $50 million because he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't want to play with that guy anymore. that tells you quite a bit, man. Yeah. It really does.
Incredible. It sure seems incredible. And it's amazing how these super teams can be blown up over one guy. Something happens. Usually it's an ego thing, but this time it's somebody standing to what he believes in. There was quite the exchange last night with Kyrie Irving. One of the reporters said, is this changing your mind about your vaccination? Would you want to get the shot now? And it went on back and forth for quite a while. He called Kyrie the most famous unvaccinated person on the planet. And Kyrie was like, what does that even mean? Like, what the hell are you talking about? And it was a pretty funny exchange if you can find it online. But Kyrie's sticking to his guns and will refuse to do it however long it takes to get back to normal and not care about vaccination status. But I guess James is gonna fly the coop because of the way Kyrie's sticking to his guns.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you have to know who this guy is. He marches to the beat of his own drum. You don't want to do something, you're never going to talk him into doing it.
Yeah,
ever. When he says,
do you think Steve Nash is regretting his decision to come out of retirement and be the coach there?
No, not at all. You want to know why? KD's there. Good.
Okay.
He gets to coach a Hall of Fame dude. Like I as far as I'm concerned, that's always going to be a win, regardless if you have to deal with an overweight James Harden or a volatile Kyrie Irving, which he already knew about those two anyways. But the fact, because also too, he has rapport with KD. He used to be a assistant coach that used to work very closely with KD in Golden State, so they have that back history. And so for him to have the opportunity just to coach up KD, I think that's a win. That should be a win for any coach. Part
of that rumor and part of that story about James Harden has been that the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets are actually speaking and might pull off a trade Harden for Simmons.
That could help them quite a bit, because then Simmons would be in an environment where he doesn't have to be a scoring option, like at all, literally. KD's like, don't worry, I'll just take all of your shots that you would normally take. I'm good with that. Right. And Kyrie's like, I'm definitely good with that. I'll take all your shots too. All he would have to literally focus on is distribution of the ball and playing great defense because he's so switchable and tall and supremely athletic. That might be probably one of the best things that they could ever hope for, going both ways. And then all of a sudden, Philly gets the dynamic James Harden, who's I think is about to play himself into shape now. So they get that guy, right? And they're already really good. Yeah. And now you get a Hall of Fame all-star player.
I think it's a win-win. I think it would be a great move, and I hope it happens. I was surprised that was part of what I've been hearing, the rumors. I guess it would be smart for the Nets to actually see what's in Harden's mind and what he wants to do. And if he does want to relocate, you might as well get an asset like Simmons out of it.
Oh yeah, like I'd move on that immediately if that's a possibility. If Daryl Morey's actually not asking for like Harden and KD or whatever sort of other ridiculous nonsense he could ask for, and it's just a straight up trade or it's a good trade, then you do that.
Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah, be awesome. I was really disappointed. I had to work one day of the past month because I missed MLK Day, which is an awesome day to watch a ton of basketball. I had to work one day and I had to miss MLK Day, 12 games of basketball. But now I'm back on the shelf. I'll be watching tons of basketball.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, I have it paused. So once we're done, it was put on the Golden State Detroit game immediately after this.
Nice.
So
good. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, but it's still, I find it very funny with the mere fact that we only lasted a day.
I know, Jesus, can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's shocking, man. Yeah, I'm pretty stunned by it. It was pretty bizarre to go back and all of a sudden people are just dropping like flies, and then you give me a call and say, "Oh, I'm out," and then boom, I get a call, I'm out too. Oh my God, it's a very weird scenario to return to work after a month off and then you last a day and then they send you home, man.
Yeah, like it's just I feel bad for our bosses that are now have to scramble. Yeah. And they got to bring people in, but they can't bring them in immediately because they have to be tested. So they're probably only gonna be there for like Friday.
Yeah. Guess who's starting tomorrow on our crew?
Well, who?
Somebody that we hung out with a month ago.
Oh, Stefan.
Yeah. He's starting tomorrow.
Okay.
I gave his number to Lori, and he just wrapped out at Legends recently, and asked if we needed anybody. And all of a sudden, all this started happening, and so I sent her his contact info. He said they're so desperate that he thinks he's actually starting tomorrow, not getting COVID tested and waiting. Oh, yeah. They're just gonna boom, throw him right into the fire, and he'll be there.
Yeah, because like I also gave Lori their leads number because of the mere fact that we need everybody. Yeah. So I said, that's the leads number. Talk to him and then try to get whoever the heck you can.
Yeah.
Literally.
I passed a couple names on to her today, and hopefully those they wanted work. So hopefully she's able to make it happen and assemble a motley crew to take over for us. Our friend Scott Holborn had to do that with our crew a year ago, I guess that is maybe now. And all of a sudden, I think 10 people dropped in one day, and he had to scramble, pulled it off. But yeah, this will be interesting to hear the things that are coming out of there, trying to replace all of us just immediately like this.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a struggle for this week, but they'll get it done. Yeah. I'll get it done.
Did Dean say that they've had anything in the construction department? How's other departments doing?
Yeah, at least from what I know for construction and paint, they're doing great.
Okay.
They're doing great. So they're good. It was just oddly enough, our freaking department just got decimated trying to work one day.
Wow.
So
bizarre.
I guess that was on us. We made the mistake. We shouldn't have bothered. Man, it doesn't look good. We're gonna call
it. Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah, well, when I called you last week, I said, wow, bizarre things are happening, but I didn't think it would still be crazy, bizarre things happening after we got back at it.
No, I most certainly didn't think that. I didn't think today would end like this. I thought today would be, right now we should still be at work.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
were told we were going to be working still to this time. Yeah, even later than this. So
Yeah, exactly. Like we probably would still literally, it's 9 o'clock. We probably still have an hour time to set up, and then we're going home.
Crazy, hey? Crazy.
Yeah.
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 Okay, man, we'll make the best of it. Roll with the punches. There's nothing else we can do. This is where we are for a few days. And yeah, I hope you can have a good more time off. You know, anything that you forgot to do during that month, you know, make sure you do it in the next 5 days, or just watch a lot of sports. And yeah, keep in touch, man. Let me know what's going on.
Definitely will be doing that. We'll be watching a lot of sports, try to catch up on some TV shows too, since I really didn't have the TV on for that much during the holidays. So yes, but we will definitely be keeping in touch, my friend. So you enjoy yourself.
Thanks, buddy. All the best, man. Take care. Enjoy the basketball game tonight. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Cheers.
All right. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Good night. Bye. Okay. Wow. Another podcast down. You heard, yeah, what a bizarre day. Very weird. Yeah, back in quarantine and waiting to see what the future holds. Bizarre to be off for a month, back in one day, and then back home again. Yeah, anyway, I do want to thank our partners and sponsors as always. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast, phenomenal partner, really great at posting on multiple podcast platforms for them. They've been really great. If you want to do what Jason and I just did here, go on to anchor.fm and follow their prompts. They will help you. I want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And no, I'm not going to say it this time. You'll know. You know what I want you to buy. Pampas Impossibilities, designers of West Coast pretty things that you can put inside your home. Get them to come in and revamp your home. It will look phenomenal. And they're really great at what they do. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Go to our website and purchase some products. You'll get a great discount and you'll be super happy. I use tons of their products and I love them. So thanks to you. Thanks for everybody that keeps tuning in. Happy 2022. Let's make this year amazing. It started off very weird with this happening, but I'm going to just make the best of it, and you should too. Love you guys lots. Thanks for your support as always. Take care of yourself, and bye for now. Talk soon.